Hey warriors, welcome back. Let's be brutally honest for a second. There's a reason people can still drag you into drama, make you overreact, and pull you out of character like it's nothing. It's not because you're weak. It's because you still care too much in the wrong way. You still let emotions run the show. You still hand your peace over to anyone who knows how to push the right button. In this world, the one who stays calm while everyone else loses their mind wins. Think about what actually happens in a crisis. When things go wrong, most people panic. They argue, they point fingers, they break down, they over-explain, they spiral. But there's always that one person who doesn't move, doesn't rush, doesn't raise their voice. That's the one everyone secretly watches. Because stillness feels like power. Calmness feels like control. The calm man is quietly feared. The emotional man is easily controlled. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this perfectly. The fool reacts. The wise man observes. The fool exposes himself first. The wise one lets everyone else reveal their fears, their anger, their insecurity, while he stands there untouched. His calmness is not peace and love. It's strategy. His silence isn't weakness. It's a weapon. When you don't react, you're not being passive. You're doing psychological warfare. Because the moment you refuse to give someone your emotional reaction, you've taken their favorite tool away. You starve their ego. You make them question themselves. You break their confidence without raising your voice. The loudest person in the room always shows their emotion, the one who doesn't flinch, doesn't over-explain, doesn't chase. That's the one people start to fear. The world doesn't reward nicest. The world rewards most composed. Everyone wants to be confident. But here's the truth. Confidence can be faked. Composure can't. You can act confident. You cannot act truly calm when your mind is collapsing inside. That's why composure commands more respect than any show of bravado. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to become cold, not dead inside, but controlled. Calm, not soft, but unreadable. You're going to learn how to stop begging for approval, how to find peace in chaos, how to use silence like armor, and how to make people respect you without you trying to convince them. Because when you master your emotions, nobody can weaponize them against you. That's when you become something different, something rare, a man who is almost impossible to break. Before we dive in, drop this in the comments as your first step into this new version of you. I control the storm within. Let's begin. Wanta 1. Find peace inside chaos. Most people wait for the world to calm down before they calm down. They wait for the drama to end, for the problem to be fixed, for people to finally stop stressing them out. That's why they never feel stable, because their peace depends on everything they cannot control. The weak wait for peace. The powerful build it inside, even while everything burns around them. Chaos isn't a signal to panic. It's a stage, a test, a spotlight that reveals who actually has control over themselves. When the world screams, you lower your volume. When people rush, you move like water, slow, deliberate, unbothered. Anyone can be zen when life is gentle. But only a rare mind can stay centered in a storm. Machiavelli said, "He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command." But here's the twist. If you can't command yourself, you command nothing. Every situation you face is a war between your impulses and your intelligence. Chaos doesn't create that war. It just exposes which side has been winning all along. Most people fall apart because they think peace is something external. A quiet room, a vacation, a problem-free season of life. But a Machiavellian mind knows peace is internal. It's forged in fire, not in comfort. It's born in the exact moments when everyone else loses their grip. Peace isn't running away from the storm. Peace is becoming the calm inside it. When other people argue, you observe. When they fight to be heard, you conserve your energy. Your silence becomes a mirror. It reflects their instability back at them. The moment you stop reacting to noise, noise stops having power over you. This doesn't mean you feel nothing. It means you stop absorbing everything. You learn to notice chaos without letting it live in your chest. Life is going to send you conflict, betrayal, confusion, and pain, not because it hates you, but to see if you finally learned how to stay centered. So when the fire comes, breathe through it. Let it move around you, not through you. The day you realize peace isn't found, it's built, is the day you stop waiting for the world to calm down and you become the calm. Remember this: chaos only destroys the man who tries to fight it emotionally. The wise man doesn't wrestle the storm. He watches it burn itself out. People who live in panic are easy to control. They reveal their thoughts, their fears, their buttons. They hand over the remote to anyone willing to press it. But a calm mind, that's unpredictable, unreadable, untouchable. Your stillness becomes your armor, not indifference mastery. When you can genuinely smile while surrounded by noise, you've reached a level of strength that can't be faked. So stop trying to escape difficult moments. Stop running from discomfort. Face it until fear gets bored of chasing you. Peace is not comfort. Peace is control. And when you can hold that peace inside your chest while life spins around you, you've already won, whether anyone sees it or not. Drop this in the comments as your next affirmation. I am calm in the storm. 2. Strength is born in silence. Silence isn't emptiness. It's stored power. Weak men talk to prove themselves. Strong men stay quiet to protect their advantage. Real strength doesn't need a spotlight or an audience. It moves like a shadow, silent, observant, patient, watching everything while saying nothing. Because the moment you understand the value of silence, you stop wasting energy on words that don't matter. Every time you argue, explain, or defend yourself, you give away a piece of your control. Machiavelli said, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves." To survive, you must learn both. Silence is the bridge between them. It teaches you when to observe like a fox and when to strike like a lion. We live in a world where everyone talks too much. People overshare their plans, reveal their insecurities, explain their motives, spill every emotion they feel. They think it makes them authentic, but it really just makes them predictable. Power dies the moment you expose it. The less you say, the more people imagine. The more they imagine, the more they fear. The more they fear, the more they respect. A man who stays silent forces others to do the psychological work. They start guessing, overthinking, creating stories, projecting their fears onto you. While they burn energy trying to decode you, you stay in control. That is psychological warfare. Staying silent doesn't mean suppressing yourself. It means choosing when your voice is worth using. Most people talk to fill space. They're terrified of quiet. They can't stand not being understood, not being heard, not being validated. A Machiavellian mind uses that insecurity against them. In silence, people expose their intentions without realizing it. You'll notice tone shifts, hidden motives, insecurity leaking through jokes, truth hiding behind politeness, manipulation tucked inside compliments. When you don't rush to fill the silence, you see everything. Silence also trains discipline. When you resist the urge to react instantly, you build patience, and patience is the weapon that breaks those who rush. Every moment you stay still while someone else loses their composure, you rise in power. The quiet mind hears what the loud mind misses. The quiet mind sees the patterns behind the chaos. The quiet mind never reveals its next move. People will misinterpret your silence. They'll call you cold, arrogant, distant. Let them. Their discomfort is proof your silence is working. Most people can't handle someone they can't read. They want your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions. When you withhold them, you create emotional scarcity, and scarcity always increases value. Your silence becomes the mystery they chase. So let your quietness speak the truth your words don't need to. Let silence expose the weak. Let silence protect your purpose. Let silence be the wall that keeps manipulators out. Because the mind that stays silent hears everything, remembers everything, and reacts to nothing. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My silence holds power. 3. Stop chasing approval. Let it chase you. Here's a fact most people refuse to admit. Every time you seek approval, you hand someone else your freedom. Approval is a leash disguised as a compliment. Attention is a drug that turns you into an addict. Validation is the trap people willingly step into. Most people live their entire lives performing for family, friends, strangers, society. They dress for approval. They speak for approval. They dream for approval. But when you live for approval, you lose yourself. Machiavelli said people are driven by two forces, love and fear. The masses chase love because it feels safe. The powerful embrace being feared because fear commands respect. When you seek approval, you become predictable, and predictability kills power. You start changing yourself based on what others want, trimming off pieces of your identity just to be accepted. It feels harmless at first, but each compromise makes you smaller. Power begins the moment you stop explaining yourself. When you stop needing permission to exist. When you stop trying to win people over. When you stop begging for acceptance. Approval is temporary. Respect is permanent. People respect the person they can't control. The one who doesn't seek validation becomes the one everyone pays attention to, not because he tries, but because he doesn't care. Humans are wired to chase what feels unattainable. So the moment you stop chasing approval, approval starts chasing you. This requires detachment. Detach from praise, it inflates your ego. Detach from criticism, it distorts your direction. Detach from the need to be seen. It keeps you free. People will test your independence. They'll withhold validation, challenge you, question your choices. Not because they're right, but because they want to see if you break. Most people crumble the moment someone disapproves of them. But the Machiavellian mind understands. Rejection isn't humiliation. Rejection is redirection toward power. When you stop needing approval, you become magnetic. People feel your independence. They sense your confidence. They chase your attention because they can't influence you. Your boundaries become your crown. Your silence becomes your authority. Your detachment becomes your throne. So stop proving. Stop pleasing. Stop performing. Let the world chase your approval instead. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I don't seek approval. 4. Composure commands more than confidence. Confidence is loud. Composure is silent. And in a chaotic world, silence speaks louder than every boast, every flex, every fake display of strength. Anyone can pretend to be confident. Anyone can puff their chest, raise their voice, or act fearless. But when real pressure hits, when life squeezes, when things go wrong, that confidence cracks. The mask slips. The performance falls apart. Composure, however, does not break. Composure is quiet authority. It's the energy that enters a room before you do and tells everyone, this man is in control, even before you speak. When you walk with composure, you're not trying to impress anyone. You don't need to dominate conversations or prove your value. Your presence shows it for you. Machiavelli said a leader should appear virtuous, merciful, faithful, but must also be able to change as circumstances demand. That's composure adaptability without emotional chaos. Confidence seeks attention. Composure attracts it naturally. When others shout, the composed man listens. When others rush, he slows down. When the situation tries to provoke him, he stays grounded. People notice the difference instantly. They feel it. They sense the depth of someone who doesn't flinch, doesn't overreact, doesn't get pushed around by emotion. Reacting is giving control to chaos. Staying composed is taking control back. The composed man studies the battlefield while everyone else is exhausting themselves. His calm becomes a sharper weapon than anger could ever be. This kind of composure is not built in comfort. It's built in pressure. You earn it through moments that test your patience, tempt your ego, and spark your emotions. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, you build a stronger foundation. History's strongest men weren't the loudest. They were the ones who stayed focused under fire. They understood that maintaining control of your tone, your eyes, your posture, even when insulted, betrayed, or challenged, is one of the most intimidating powers you can have. When you can look someone in the eye, steady and unbothered, while they lose themselves in emotion, you dominate without saying a word. This is why leaders are born from composure, not confidence. People follow those who remain stable when everything else becomes unstable. Composure is also the death of manipulation. You become extremely difficult to control when people cannot read you. They can't twist your emotions if they can't see them. They can't predict your reactions if you don't reveal them. Being calm isn't passive. It's strategic. It is patience disguised as silence. It is awareness disguised as neutrality. Once you master composure, you stop reacting on impulse and start responding with intention. Your decisions become precise. Your actions become deliberate. Your presence becomes powerful. The confident burn bright for a moment. The composed endure through every storm. When you remain unshaken in chaos, you command both respect and fear, and that combination creates influence. Never let chaos dictate your tone. Never let noise pull you out of character. Never let someone else's emotions contaminate your composure. Because once you master calmness, you don't just control yourself, you control every room you walk into. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My calm commands power. 5. Feel everything. Show nothing. You're not meant to be emotionless. You're meant to be unreadable. The strongest men feel everything: betrayal, frustration, heartbreak, anger, but the world never gets to see it. They don't deny their emotions. They convert them. Every feeling becomes intelligence. Every scar becomes strategy. When you show your emotions to the wrong people, you hand them the keys to your mind. The moment someone knows what triggers you, what hurts you, what scares you, they now own a piece of your control. Machiavelli said, "Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception." And this applies directly to your emotions. You don't win by exposing your emotional state. You win by mastering it. People today believe that venting every feeling is strength. They think sharing everything makes them real. But the truth is harsher. The world doesn't reward emotional transparency. The world exploits it. Once people learn your vulnerabilities, they can manipulate you with frightening precision. They can provoke you, mislead you, guilt-trip you, or push you into emotional reactions you later regret. That's why the Machiavellian mind treats emotions as signals, not instructions. You can feel anger without acting on it. You can feel sadness without collapsing into it. You can feel fear without letting it control your choices. Emotional control isn't about shutting down. It's about standing still while the storm moves through you. When anger hits, don't explode. Examine it. When fear rises, don't freeze. Understand it. When disappointment comes, don't dramatize it. Observe it. Emotions lose their power the moment you stop performing them. This is why powerful men seem calm even when they're hurting. Their stillness confuses the manipulative, frustrates the arrogant, and destroys the curious who want to see you fall. Your calmness under pressure drives people insane because it reveals how little influence they have over you. When they expect a reaction and get silence, they panic internally. They start questioning themselves. They lose confidence. That's psychological dominance. But remember, feeling nothing is not the goal. Feeling deeply while remaining centered is. Every emotion you conquer becomes a brick in the fortress inside your mind. Most people run from their emotions because they're scared of drowning in them. But the strong learn to stand still as emotions rage like waves, and they realize the waves always pass. The world will test you with loss, betrayal, pressure, and temptation just to see if you'll break. You won't. You will feel everything and reveal nothing. You will let the world wonder what moves behind your eyes. You will build an inner empire no one has access to. That is not suppression. That is mastery. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I feel deeply but reveal nothing. 6. Weak minds react. Strong minds understand. Every reaction you give away is a confession. The moment you respond impulsively, whether it's anger, jealousy, defensiveness, or fear, you reveal exactly what controls you. That's why weak minds are always exposed. They're slaves to their emotions. They react because silence feels unbearable. Their ego needs to be seen, needs to be heard, needs to be right. Strong minds don't react. Strong minds study. Strong minds interpret. Strong minds understand. Before they speak, they observe. Before they move, they analyze. Before they respond, they think. Machiavelli wrote, "A prince never lacks legitimate reasons to break his promise." The meaning? The wise act out of strategy, not emotion. They bend situations in their favor because they understand the game before they make a single move. The reactive man jumps immediately, revealing his intentions. The strategic man waits, learning how to turn every attack into leverage. Understanding gives you choice. Reaction gives others control. In arguments, relationships, conflicts, business, everywhere, you'll notice something. The one who reacts first becomes predictable. The one who remains silent becomes a mystery. People fear mystery more than confrontation. Modern society conditions people to react instantly. Notifications, arguments, comment sections, competition. Everything demands a quick answer, but this is how weak minds expose themselves. They blurt out their insecurities, their fears, their need to defend, their need to be accepted. The Machiavellian mind knows that silence after provocation is not avoidance, it's dominance. When someone expects you to snap back and you don't. When someone tries to trigger you and you stay still. When someone pushes you and you refuse to move emotionally. A tension is created. In that tension, they start revealing themselves. You watch their fears leak out, their intentions slip through their words, their limits show. Their weaknesses expose themselves, and you didn't have to do anything. Understanding becomes your weapon. Patience becomes your shield. When you stop reacting, you start seeing who people truly are. Who is manipulative, who is insecure, who is genuine, who is jealous, who is loyal, who wants control, who fears losing you. Once you understand someone, you know exactly how to deal with them. And once you know how to deal with them, you control the dynamic, not through force, but through clarity. Weak minds argue to prove they're right. Strong minds don't care about being right, they care about knowing the truth. Understanding requires ego death. Reaction is ego addiction. A single minute of silence reveals more than a lifetime of impulsive talking. The strong don't defend their image. They let results speak. The strong don't chase respect. They make it inevitable. The strong don't react to pressure. They reshape it. The moment you stop reacting, you become unreadable, and the unreadable are untouchable. You must train your ego to sit down and be quiet. Don't assume. Don't take things personally. Don't let emotions drag you where logic should lead. When someone disrespects you, don't rush to defend your pride. Ask yourself why they needed to show disrespect in the first place. When someone lies to you, don't explode. Ask yourself what fear pushed them to lie. Understanding is insight. Reaction is slavery. Turn every insult into information, every conflict into clarity, every betrayal into education. That's when your power becomes unbreakable, because knowledge is always stronger than emotion. Remember this: every fool can react. Only a ruler can remain calm enough to understand. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I don't react, I understand. 7. Power doubles when you stop explaining. If you want to step into real authority, stop explaining yourself. People who constantly justify their actions reveal insecurity, even if they don't intend to. And insecurity invites control. Every explanation you give is a subtle apology. Every time you over-explain, you lower your status. You hand people the right to question your motives, your choices, your direction. Machiavelli said it is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Fear does not come from noise. It comes from mystery. When people can't fully read you, they respect you out of caution. But when you explain everything, you become transparent, and transparency kills power. Explanations invite debate. Debate invites emotional traps. Emotional traps lead to losing control. The powerful don't play that game. They speak once. They act decisively. They don't justify. They don't negotiate their value. They simply move. When you stop explaining, your words start to carry weight. Your actions become the message. Your silence becomes the boundary. People don't want the truth from you. They want comfort. And when you start explaining, you're trying to make them comfortable. You're trying to soften their insecurity. You're trying to be liked. Power never apologizes for existing. When you stay silent after being questioned, people feel unsettled. They'll wonder, is he planning something? Is he angry? Does he know something I don't? What is he thinking? Mystery is leverage. Uncertainty is intimidation. Silence is hierarchy. A calm man who doesn't explain himself looks dangerous. People can't predict him. They can't calculate him. They can't disarm him. Once they stop expecting explanations from you, you've already won. You've stepped out of their influence. You've claimed your mental independence. In a world addicted to validation, silence becomes rebellion. Let them misunderstand you. Let them talk. Let them guess. Let them create stories in their head. Every time you resist the urge to explain, you reinforce your authority. You owe no one an explanation for your choices, your silence, your distance, or your evolution. Power moves in shadows, not in discussions. Strength grows in silence, not in validation. Drop this affirmation. I owe no explanations. Now you understand what makes a person truly unbreakable. It's not brute strength, not loud confidence, not the ability to argue or dominate every conversation. It's inner control. The one who stays calm when the world shakes. The one who stays silent when others scream. The one who refuses to react, refuses to explain, refuses to chase. That person becomes untouchable. Machiavelli wrote, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." Meaning, powerful people act from strategy, not emotion. They evolve as circumstances change. They don't let guilt or pressure dictate their moves. They stay centered when everything around them shifts. And that's the powerful version of yourself you must step into now. Life won't suddenly become peaceful. Storms will continue to come at you. Conflict, betrayal, pressure, noise, uncertainty. People will still try to provoke you, manipulate you, draw you into their chaos. But the difference is this: none of those things need to move you anymore. Not like before. Because once you take full ownership of your emotions, you become a different kind of human being. Someone others are careful around. Someone manipulators avoid. Someone who commands respect without speaking. Someone whose calmness is more intimidating than another man's anger. Self-mastery is the highest form of power. When you control your inner world, no one can control your outer reactions. They can't guilt you into compliance. They can't trigger you into explosions. They can't drag you into drama. They can't predict you, which means they can't influence you. You become sovereign. From now on, you must stop living for others' expectations. Stop proving yourself. Stop defending every move. Stop explaining your silence. Stop softening your boundaries so others feel comfortable. Your quiet confidence will speak for you. Your presence will do the heavy lifting. Your consistency will reveal your strength. Your stillness will communicate what your words don't need to. And what happens next is powerful. People start adapting to you. They lower their voice around you. They watch their tone. They respect your boundaries. They listen when you speak. Not because you demand it, but because your composure makes them want to. You become the steady force in a room of chaos. You become the calm others look to. You become the one who doesn't fold under pressure. People fear provoking someone they can't read. People admire someone who stays composed. People respect someone who maintains discipline when everyone else is falling apart. And when they wonder how you stay so calm while everything around you burns, how you remain grounded while others panic, how you keep your emotions hidden while they expose theirs, just smile. They won't understand even if you explain. Calmness isn't just peace, it's mental dominance. You are no longer the victim of storms, you are the center of them. Living like this doesn't remove problems from your life. It removes their power to break you. You stop fighting pointless battles. You stop wasting energy on emotional wars. You stop reacting to noise. You start seeing through situations instead of being overwhelmed by them. When you move with this kind of clarity, opportunities open. You make better decisions. You attract better people. You avoid traps that once pulled you in. Your silence becomes strategy. Your patience becomes defense. Your composure becomes a weapon. Slowly, your presence changes. Your eyes become more focused. Your voice becomes steadier. Your energy becomes heavier. Your boundaries become natural. People trust you more because you're consistent. They respect you because you aren't swayed by emotion. They fear crossing you because they can't predict your reaction. And all of this forms without you having to shout, argue, or flex. It comes from mastering the battlefield within. So carry this truth with you now. You do not need to react. You do not need to explain. You do not need to be understood. You only need to stay centered, disciplined, calm, and cold. Here's your final affirmation. Write it, remember it, repeat it, until it becomes who you are. I am calm, cold, and untouchable. Once that identity forms inside you, the world loses its grip. The chaos loses its influence. The opinions of others lose their weight. You walk with clarity instead of fear. You move with strategy instead of emotion. You become the man storms cannot break, because you become the calm within them.